Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Watch the greenbacks.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked, blissed. Wow, I overdid it. Here we go. Your dial's set correctly to USAPrepares.com. We're delighted you're here, and we're broadcasting 2 hours from the Missouri Ozark Mountains. There's a link to your instructors on the website, USAPrepares.com. Converging threats are confronted daily by your instructors. I'm Vincent Finelli. Aaron is engineering the broadcast in Minnesota at GCN. Captain John Regan's with us. Welcome, Captain John Regan.
Good morning, Vincent. Don't worry, I'll take care of that bliss for you.
I was hoping you could ameliorate some of this because I really overdid it. Hey, John, if any of our class would like to call us and chat with us, we'll pay for the call. 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. And we have a listen line if you'd like to call and listen on your unlimited phone plans, landline, or however you plan on doing it. 605-562-4080. 605-562-4080. That's a listen line just for USAPrepares.com. John Regan, we were busy at the farm over the last couple of weeks, and one of the things that we've accomplished is we installed some solar panels. We have all but 2 of the solar panels on the roof. We had some clear weather, and we're able to do it without being rained on. So the mounting system is up on the barn roof. The solar panels are up on the barn roof. We have some of the wiring in. We have 48 volts of solar panels hooked up already as kind of a pilot test to see how we want to wire these. And we are now broadcasting via solar. I mean, literally, we have this entire broadcast studio is connected, except for the lighting, is connected to solar power. And it's working. It's absolutely working. So I'm delighted. And, John, I did a quick calculation. You are a financial guy. I want to share this with you. I received on trade a couple of years ago. A guy wanted to come to the expo and exhibit, and he traded me a grid tie inverter for an exhibit booth. And a grid tie inverter is about $200. So I said, sure, if you want to do it. And he offered this thing, and I said, that'd be fine if you want to do that. I want to experiment with it anyway. And it's a box. It's a box that has 2 types of connections. On one end, you connect 2 wires to the solar panels, positive and negative. That's it. On the other side, it has a short plug, cord with a regular 120 volt plug on it, like you might plug in a computer into your wall. So that's it for the grid tie inverter, and it has this little series of 3 LEDs that flash in a sequence to let you know that it's generating electricity from the solar panels. So I took 2 solar panels that I had for many years that I've never used. They're 85 watts apiece. So in parallel, we've got 160 watts of solar power. So we'll round that up and make this really simple for the air, for our class over the air. So roughly 200 watts of solar power on a perfect day. So if the weather is great and you can aim these exactly at the sun for maximum solar energy, you'd be able to get roughly 200 watts out of these things. Well, I was able to get half of that, literally. And for a full day, and I've got these angled perfectly, the best angle that I can measure. I hooked up a meter and I measured the exact amount of solar power that's coming out of them. I was able to get about 85 watts at a peak out of these panels at any point in time. Over an entire day, I was able to generate a half of a kilowatt. So it took all day during the sun to generate 1/2 of a kilowatt. A half a kilowatt, well, in our neck of the woods, you can buy a kilowatt of electricity right from the utility company for 10 cents. So this thing's humming along, clear day. I'm generating 5 cents worth of electricity a day. The cost is about $400. Now, that's without installation. Now, there's no installation because I just lean these two panels up facing south against the side of the building. I leaned them, and I got the right angle, and so I found some wire, the right gauge wire, and I've got this thing hooked up. So virtually there's no installation cost whatsoever. I'm just experimenting with this, right? So we're generating 5 cents worth of electricity a day. Now, it would take 8,000 days to break even. 8,000 days. And that's as long as the grid's working, because this is a grid tie system. This little piece of gear I was experimenting with. That's 22 years of payback. That's assuming nothing breaks. That assumes that, the solar panels don't crack. That assumes that they run at 100% efficiency for 22 years, which is not the case. They degrade it, over time. And that assumes that none of the electronics breaks. 22-year payback. That's with this very simple grid tie system. What I'm trying to say is, if you want to hook up solar power because you think you're going to save money, I don't think so. Now, if I got a $1 a watt incentive to do this from either the utility or the government, $1 a watt, I'd be able to drive this payback down to 11 years. But it's still a long time. So I just wanted to share with you that if you think that you can jump into this thing and start earning a payback immediately, the answer is I don't think so. Now that's just a little system I'm experimenting with. That's not what we're broadcasting with. The system we're broadcasting with is 16 solar panels on the roof with a multi-mode inverter. Now this multi-mode inverter is a grid tie system, which sends electricity backward to the grid, and it also is a standalone system, and it also is a charge controller. It does everything. And I found it on Craigslist. I bought the multi-mode system used for $500. So I have this big 118-pound piece of gear with transformers and solid-state controls and computer controls and all that for $500, and then I have the solar panels that are connected to it. And that's what we have hooked up so far, plus underground wiring from the barn to the studio. So that's what's happening right now, and that's only 1/4 of the panels are hooked up. When the rest of them are hooked up, we'll be able to run things like our refrigerator and freezer and so forth. So I just want to share that with you, John. There's this myth that there's a great return in solar power, and that is absolutely not the case. The only reason I can think of to do it, well, a couple of reasons. One is to be independent. If you want to be independent of the grid, that's a great way to go if you have a standalone type system. If you want to protect yourself from the grid, being unstable, that's a great way to go as well. And if you think you're going to save money by just having a grid tie system that depends on the grid to be running, well, I can't really understand why somebody would do that. The only other reason would be like Rick Shealy. He's out in the middle of nowhere in Montana, and it would cost $45,000 to bring electricity to him. So for less than that cost to bring it to him, he's got his own system. So those are my thoughts on solar. John, back to you.
Well, Barry is getting ready to keep one of his campaign promises, and that's to make sure that electricity prices skyrocket.
Right. And well, that's another reason to consider doing this. Yeah. And, I think, John, that the solar industry would not be doing well at all if there weren't so many subsidies. And we were at a meetup on, several Mondays ago. We actually did a series of 3 meetups talking about solar power and how it works. And a lot of these electric utility companies are paying $1 per watt, as a rebate if you install solar. Well, it's still not enough. It costs roughly, if you have solar power installed, it costs roughly $3 a watt to get it, hooked up and running. And so even with a third of the price being paid for by someone else, it still has a really long payback. And one of the things that I didn't discuss is the batteries. Now, the batteries that I'm running, I had 4 deep cycle marine batteries. I had them here at the farm already. And 2 of them I had hooked up to our diesel generator. I borrowed those from the diesel generator. And I had 1 spare, and I had 1 in a tractor. So I took the 1 in the tractor, 2 from the generator, and the spare, and hooked them all up. They're roughly the same age. And hooked them all up and charged them. And that's the battery bank. So I don't have a lot of battery. I certainly have enough to get through the broadcast. But, should the power go out and power the telephones and that kind of thing. But it's not hooked up with enough battery reserve to, really run the farm. It's just, as long as the grid's working, everything's working great. And other than that, I only have a couple hours worth of reserve on the batteries. So the battery bank that we're going to, hook up is going to be the next big expense. And that's a huge, huge expense. And I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do it yet. I mean, I've got some ideas. I like the nickel iron batteries, but it's really expensive. And I'm thinking, why can't I just make batteries? Why can't I do that? Companies do. Why can't I do it? Another thing is, I was watching a video on YouTube about reconditioning batteries. And what this guy did was he poured out all the acid, poured it in a bucket, and then he added a mixture of baking soda and water to neutralize the acid. Then he rinsed out the battery. I'm talking about truck batteries and car batteries. And then he poured in a solution of alum, A-L-U-M, pickling juice, alum. And he charged the battery, and it worked, and it started his car. So I've got a bunch of old batteries here, and I'm wondering if we can, rejuvenate some of those batteries. So if any of you have any experience about taking old batteries that just don't work and rinsing them out, and it's dangerous. I don't want you to do it without thinking about this and learning about it. And then adding an electrolyte of alum and recharging it. Does that work? Let us know. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Injury Help Desk is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisements. Services may not be available in all states. Attention prescription antibiotic drug users. Have you or a loved one suffered an aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm after taking the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox? These popular antibiotic drugs have been prescribed more than 80 million times since 2004, and medical studies show an increased risk of the following injuries: aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, and abdominal aortic aneurysm. If you or a loved one used the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox and suffered from aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
Captain John Reagan's with us, thefinancialstateoftheunion.com, thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. We're going to click on the news tab and follow along in class. John, I just wanted to mention that we have a meetup tonight, every Monday at Jimmy's Egg in Springfield, Missouri. And tonight, Eric Burleson, state representative, is going to be with us. Darrell Stubblefield wanted him to be invited, and, I thought about it, and I agreed to have Eric Burleson speak to us about the Second Amendment and what's happening in Missouri with the Second Amendment. And I have a lot of questions that I'm going to ask if no one else asks. Like, what has Eric Burleson done to reduce our taxes, limit the federal government's usurping of power here in Missouri? And what about the theft of our rights? And what about lowering taxes? I mean, there's hundreds of questions we have for him. I don't know how long he's going to stay, and we'll report on that. But Eric Burleson, District 136, Springfield, Missouri, will be with us. Now, that's just part of tonight's presentation. Now, the rest of it is going to be me. I'll be on stage, and I'm going to go through a work session. We're going to talk about what's happening and what we're going to do about it on all levels, 360 degrees. So tonight is every member of the meetup will be participating, like it or else. Seriously, like it or not. Everyone will be participating. There will be no one who is silent at the meetup tonight. You'll all be participating and sharing your thoughts on what's happening and what we should do about it. It'll be round robin, and it will be very, very enlightening, extremely enlightening. And if you have a weak stomach, please do not come. Do not come to the meetup if you have a weak stomach. Seriously. Because this will be very upsetting to everyone. And I hope Eric Burleson stays for it, because what he's going to learn is things that he's going to learn how we think. And maybe he'll go back as a politician and discuss what he learned from us tonight at the meetup. So, 4:45 to 8 o'clock tonight, Jimmy's Egg, Springfield, Missouri. Information is on the website. John Regan, where would you like to start?
Well, all I can say is fasten your seatbelt, turn on your airbags. If you've got any bubble wrap or pillows, you may want to grab it, because I've got about 60 items here, and it's not good, except for the good news, just to ruin my reputation there. This was one of those stories that was local that went national. Woman was riding her motorcycle when a car turned in front of her, and if she hadn't been wearing her helmet, she probably wouldn't be alive anyway. But she ended up getting pinned under the car, and the police were there within about 30 seconds, and they tried to jack it off of her, but the jack broke. And at that point, the police and bystanders gathered round, lifted the car up so they could pull her out, and except for being battered a little bit, she's going to be fine. So it's one of those, when things go bad, people get together type stories, you can feel good about.
That's wonderful, and we all need to be prepared and have a knife with us in case you have to cut somebody's seatbelt. And when it's happened to us, I'm glad you brought that up. We need to work together. That is absolutely critical going forward. We have to work together.
Now, the rest of the news, not so much. I've got a must-watch link. This is to YouTube, and they used to have a better version of this up. It was taken down. This one is kind of like watching a videotaped copy of the program. If you remember a few years ago, there was a series out, Life After People, that showed what would happen to infrastructure if people just all of a sudden disappeared. And I think that's a very helpful series to watch, because when the maintenance of the infrastructure goes away, what you'll see would pretty much match what's in the show. However, with people still around, they're going to scavenge things, so things will actually degrade quicker than what they portray. And I'll talk about this particular episode when we get back from the break.
Sounds good. It sounds good. And, if you just want to see what this looks like, just look up images on the internet of Detroit and some of the cities around us. The ivy's growing, the roofs are falling down. We'll be right back.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pileski of the Pileski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937. The investment world isn't fair. A precious metals trader buys gold and silver at spot price. You pay his price plus fees, costs, and shipping. But today, you don't. Today, JM Bullion offers a 10-ounce bar of pure silver at spot price. No fees, no markups, no shipping. Invest in something real, not Wall Street paper. 10 ounces of silver at spot price. Visit realpricesilver.com for this limited time offer. One per household, 50 United States only. realpricesilver.com. Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and negative articles can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? ReputationDefender.com can help protect your good name. Get a free consultation now. Call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis diagnosis from ReputationDefender.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com today.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
Are you one of the millions of Americans who suffer from digestive issues like heartburn, acid reflux, IBS, and constipation? Probimune is your answer. Probimune is a brand new probiotic that has been scientifically proven to deliver high quantities of viable good bacteria to your gut to boost your digestive system and improve your overall health. This unique, powerful blend of probiotic strains, coupled with our industry-leading proprietary fermentation process, delivers a maximized bacterial colonization to the gut that no other probiotic can match. Start improving your health today. Visit younghealth.com or call 800-396-9024. Use coupon code DIGEST to receive 15% off first-time orders. Maintaining digestive health is crucial to the body's overall well-being. Don't suffer from negative effects of poor digestion any longer. Order today. younghealth.com or call 800-396-9024.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey Water Filtration Systems. The Berkey Light Systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light System today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
Captain John Regan's with us. John, what's up?
Well, this episode is called The Last Supper, and it's kind of like one of those double plays. One, it actually talks about the painting that we know as The Last Supper, what happens to it over time, but it also talks about what happens to food after that Last Supper. And if you can't watch the whole episode, if your time is just so taken up, there's about a 3.5-minute segment from the 17-minute 40-second mark to 21:25 that talks about an event that happened in Fort Worth in 1999, where the supermarket just closed its doors one day. The owners just locked the doors, walked away, and of course, shortly thereafter, electricity was turned off. And about 3 months later, the city had to go in and had a pretty nasty cleanup job to take care of. So if you've got any romantic notions of finding a store after the poop hits the props that has food available, you want to take a look at this. Plus, it talks about just normal food that we would buy in these times that we have right now, where there's insect eggs that are included in that food. Now, given the supply chain and how quickly the turnover is, those eggs really don't have a chance to hatch. However, if you're trying to store up the food, this is why it'd be important to say, load it up in a 5-gallon bucket and make sure you've got DE through it. Actually, you'd mix the food with the DE before putting it in the bucket. And at this point, I'm not even sure you need to worry about oxygen absorbers, because I don't think we're going to have to wait too long before you're going to need to get into the stash. But anyway, it's a great segment to watch, and I highly, highly recommend it.
John, when you say DE, you're talking about diatomaceous earth, and we're talking about food grade only. Food grade diatomaceous earth. Yeah, and John, one more time, the name of this video.
It's the Last Supper episode of Life After People. That was season 2, episode 4. And like I say, get it while you can watch it on YouTube. Otherwise, you'll have to try to find it at a library or purchase it, because right now, even the Netflix DVD service does not have it in stock to rent. So there's other episodes out there that you can find, other parts of the seasons you can find, even the originals. It was almost movie length, Life After People. You can find that. But this episode, hard to find.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Life After People, The Last Supper, and what is the exact episode number?
It was season 2, episode 4.
Okay, season 2, episode 4, Life After People, The Last Supper. Okay, so this is something that you're going to have a stomach to watch, because it's going to be upsetting to some of the viewers, correct?
Now, if you don't mind watching insects and mice and things like that with rotten food, it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, John, let me just put an exclamation point on what you're talking about. You're talking about Life After People. We're talking about, well, what if the grid goes down? Let me share this with you. A number of us are thinking, well, boy, it's so hot. It's unbearably hot. What we'll do is we'll just go down to the basement, and, it's cooler there. So during these hot summer days, we'll go down to the basement and stay out of the sun. Okay. Well, how many of you have dehumidifiers in your basement? And most people have them. And the reason we have them is because of all the moisture that that helps grow mold in the basements. How many have moldy basements anyway? The point I'm trying to make is that, do we really think that we're even going to have the ability to go down into our basement without having mold? And the reason I'm tuned into this is we had a lot of rain for about 12 weeks. It was rainy, overcast, drizzling. And the ground is really saturated here in Missouri, in our part of Missouri. And our barn is 120 feet long, it's 40 feet wide, and it has 2 12-foot by 12-foot doors, one on each end. I have had those doors open to air out the barn. We have mold, white mold, growing in the barn, in the dirt floor of the barn. And the doors have been open for weeks. Sunlight's able to get in there. It has some windows, has 5 windows, and the windows have been opened. The doors are open on both ends, and there's this white fungus or mold growing on the ground in patches that are the size of dinner plates. So if you think, and that's with a 12-foot by 12-foot door open, wide. It's a sliding door. So there's a 12-foot by 12-foot opening on each end of this barn. It's like a wind tunnel. And it's still damp in there. And there's still mold growing. What I'm saying is, we really need to have electricity. We're accustomed to electricity. We've been building buildings with electricity, assuming that it's going to be there. It's a little intimidating when you think about it like that. Do you really think you're going to be able to go into your basement? And you need to make some provisions. so that you can go into your basement. So when the grid goes down and the electricity fails, you'll be able to see what you're doing down there. Maybe even have some windows to allow some ventilation to let some of the moisture escape. What do you think, John?
In fact, I've got an article down the preparedness section called Keeping Your Cool on how they built houses before air conditioning.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Will we get to that today?
I sincerely doubt it.
Okay. All right.
Let me pick up. I've been working on this special report, and rather than try to give it all at once, which probably would not fit in the show, plus it'd be at least like drinking from a fire hydrant, I've been breaking it up. So this week I've got a section on climate, which I think is particularly appropriate since Barry's going to announce what he's going to dictate with all the carbon control. And the first link is check out the last 400,000 years. And this is a rather long article. If you scroll down about, I'd say 80% of the way down, you'll find a section that says very long term. And there's a chart of the carbon dioxide and temperature for the past 400,000 years. Because typically when you see these charts, they do maybe at most the last 2,000 years. So this goes back considerably before that. And what I would just want to key in here is the temperature chart. And if you look at it, to me, it reminds me a little bit of looking at an EKG where you've got a heartbeat. You'll see where it's up, it goes down, stays there a little bit, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up. And then a funny thing happens. Unlike the other times in the past where it went on that steep downward slope, it's been going in a channel sideways. Now, when I see that in the financial chart, that tells me this thing's building up momentum and it's going to break out. I can't tell you which side it's going to break out on, but when it breaks, it's going to go. And that's where a couple of the other articles come into play. I've got a link there to when Steve Quayle and Dane Wigington were on the Hagman report, and he's pretty much on the it's going to get hot side. After that, I've got a link about based on what the sun's doing, they believe we're in for a mini ice age, something along the line of the Maunder minimum, which caused havoc for growing crops. And it really doesn't matter if it's colder or hot. If you have excesses either way, it plays havoc with food production. And just to throw another item in for your consideration, once started, can't stop. This article is actually from late 2013, saying once we start geohacking, we won't be able to stop. Well, the thing is, we know they've been doing geoengineering for years, and I think this is telegraphing the message that, we thought we were smarter than we were, and now we're screwed, which is pretty much what Dane's been telling people. So this is just another piece for putting together this mosaic that by the time I wrap up, it may change your whole idea on how you want to do preparedness. Vincent?
Wow. John, you and I didn't talk about this before the broadcast. We really didn't talk about what our thoughts were. And class, here's how this goes. I'll call John Regan before the broadcast, maybe 15 minutes before, and say, hey, you all set? Great. I might share with him some of my thoughts, for the opening part of the broadcast, and he'll share some thoughts with me, but we really don't talk about too much. We're doing this live and unrehearsed. Well, John, what you're talking about is what I'm going to do at the meetup tonight. And we didn't talk about this. Literally, we're going to go around the room, and I'm going to ask questions. Everyone will participate on what their concerns are, what they think is going to happen, how serious they think it's going to be, and we're going to rank it. And we're going to look at all of these things that we think might happen and how serious they are. And then I'm going to ask a big question. And I'll tell you more about that, in a few days. But that's tonight.
Exercise and deep breathing gets oxygen into the blood but does not guarantee you get oxygen into your 372 trillion cells. Largely, the essential fatty acids, alpha-linolenic and linoleic acids, control oxygen transfer from the blood to the cells. These essential fatty acids are called essential because they must be obtained from the diet on a regular basis. Many people are aware of the value of supplementing with flax or hemp seed oil. What most people don't know is that due to current methods of pressing, all these oils are significantly damaged and oxidized by the time you consume them. What everyone needs to know is that there are new seed oils on the market that are pressed in a manner that protects the oils from damage and oxidation. Even athletes get cancer, which means that despite their abundant oxygen uptake into the blood, the transfer of oxygen into the cells is not occurring. I invite you to try the Andreas seed oils and see for yourself what a difference you can feel in energy, reduction of appetite, and well-being. Call 888-988-3325 or visit sacredseedoils.com. That's sacredseedoils.com.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Can your vitamin supplements positively affect your blood in 5 minutes? Protovite can. Protovite is a genuine breakthrough liquid daily nutrition that delivers quality ingredients into your blood in less than 5 minutes. Scientifically proven and backed by clinical studies, Protovite supports energy, vitality, and optimal health. Watch our 2-minute live blood cell video and see for yourself at vninc.com/prohealth. That's vninc.com/prohealth.
Warning. If you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-954-9674. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-954-9674. That's 1-800-954-9674. 1-800-954-9674.
Attention backpackers on a budget. Why spend $80 to $300 to pump clean survival water? Introducing the Viba Water Pump Kit from Viba Outdoor Products. Super easy to use and super lightweight at only 6.5 ounces, the Viba Water Pump Kit provides high flow rate at 1 ounce per stroke, can be one-hand pumped, and is dependable and affordable at only $24.99, filter not included. Get your Viba Water Pump Kit at viba-odp.com from Viba Outdoor Products.
Captain John Regan's with us. And John, what I was saying before is it's uncanny how you and I have come to the same place virtually simultaneously, but, without discussing it.
Glad I could help out there.
Please continue.
Okay. Pick up on a tale of two droughts. And California is pretty much the same as last week. However, Texas is here baking on some pretty high heat, and that's going to get worse. They're calling for this weekend starting a string of days where it's going to be 104, 105. And in fact, the Weather Channel is calling for a week of that type of temperature starting Thursday. And last week when we were talking about this, there was zero population in Texas affected by drought. Well, this week we've got over 94,000. That's in northeast Texas. And the area that's at least abnormally dry and in drought is about 13.5%, with just under 13% of that, or maybe to say it the other way, 0.65% of that's actual drought. The rest of it's just abnormally dry for now. But we have not had rain for about a month in North Texas, and there's not a whole lot in the forecast. And I've added some articles there talking about how South California's rain drought is now equal to an entire year of rainfall. We've got San Diego building a desalination plant for $1 billion. And that El Nino that they thought was going to maybe help out with California's problem, well, now forecasters are saying it won't bring relief to California. And I'll make an apology. And I'm now inventing Spanish words. You see the link on that last one. I've called it, is El Nino El Busto.
Yeah. John, let's just go back to that term that you used. On your website, there's a link, and it says, satellite image shows California's rain debt is now equal to an entire year of rainfall. What we're saying is the absence of rain is equal to 1 year's worth of rain in California, a year's worth.
It's kind of mind-boggling.
Yeah, it really is. And where do we think our food comes from? Does it come from New York City or Chicago? Is that where it comes from? I don't think so. Does it come from Las Vegas? Think about these cities with a lot of population. They've paved over farmland. New York City is magnificent farmland. It's just buried under concrete. You can't get to it. They've taken some of the best land that we have in the country and turned it, best farmland, and turned it into concrete. So if you think about it, think about the rain that is missing from California and other locations. It's where our food comes from. And I was talking with Joey, and Joey and I met near Chicago with Rick Miller. And Joey said, hey, what do you think of the corn? So I drove past a lot of corn, and it depended on where the corn was. If the corn was high on a hill, where it wasn't flooded, the corn was growing. But the corn in the low areas that was flooded, it didn't grow. And I think that's kind of unusual because I haven't seen that before, and neither did Joey. So it's something that we've noticed. Our food supply is precariously perched. And our basements are going to turn moldy without electricity. And where are you going to get your news from? Where will that come from without electricity? How will you know what's going on? You won't even know if a storm's coming. You won't know. Because your radio won't work. And they won't be able to broadcast. And the internet won't work. We are really, really dependent on electricity. I suggest that we find alternative methods of learning about what's happening and how to prepare. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
In these uncertain times, it makes sense to have a sustainable backup method to cook food and boil water. If your current plan includes using a fuel-burning stove or cooking over an open fire, then there's a much better way. The Minuteman Rocket Stove is a biomass-burning cooking stove that only requires small quantities of sticks and twigs for fuel. The Minuteman Stove is easy to use, smokeless, portable, powerful, and sustainable. For the finest in survival cooking stoves and fire starters made right here in the USA, go to MinutemanStove.com. That's MinutemanStove.com.
You know about RVs, you've heard about bunkers, but surviving is not recreation, and man wasn't made to live underground. Introducing Survivalist Camps, the ultimate fully functional off-the-grid survival bug-out house that's mobile, well-equipped, and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Go to survivalistcamps.com to learn more. That's survivalistcamps.com, providing your basic needs to survive. Survivalistcamps.com.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com with Captain John Regan. Captain John Regan, I just ran out to the barn during the top of the hour news and commercial announcements and checked the meters, and we are still broadcasting via the sun. We really are. 100% of the electricity needed to run all the computers and monitors and mixers and so forth in the studio, network equipment. It's all running on the sun. Absolutely, it's working. I can't believe it. I'm all excited. So, in order to take the broadcast down, either we'll have to have a electrical failure at the farm end, or we'll have to have an internet failure. Other than that, we will reach GCN without problems. So I'm all excited. So where are we now?
I'm going to see if I can get through the financial and employment as quick as I can. There's some items I need to spend some time on, particularly about the Social Security trustee report and the last couple of items in the financial section. To me, those are real big ones. But there's so much in spy tech that you don't want to know about. And I'm going to try and get to that. And
okay.
I think we're going to run out of time. Anyway, there's first up, coal mine valued at $630 million in 2011. That was just 4 years ago. Recently sold for $1. So that tells me the economy's just fine. You might know that the China stock market's been crashing, and when you're riding a bubble up, almost everybody can make money. Unfortunately, when that bubble pops, it's bad news. And there's talk here about how a Chinese farmer lost more than everything in the stock market. And that's what happens when you trade on margin and things turn against you. You not only lose what you had, you lose what you borrowed as well. And that puts you in really bad shape. If you're going to try to leverage, you're better off trying to leverage with options. And I don't even have time to, even do definitions on that today. The economy charges ahead. Credit card debt is on the way up. The nationwide average has been 5%. And in some cities, like here in Dallas-Fort Worth, it's up 7%. So when you see any kind of increase in sales, which haven't seen a whole lot of that, it may be due to additional credit card debt. And guess what? Wages are up, but the quarterly increase in wages is the smallest on record, 0.2%. And that gets into really bad news for the trustee report. And they just released the 2015 report. And I've got a link to the page where you can go look at the report and the supplemental tables. And I'm going to point out a couple of the supplemental tables. One is the Roman numeral 6, that's VI-G6. And that one shows things like the consumer price index, the average wage index, tax to payroll, the gross domestic product. And if you look back in, let's say, 1971, the year that Nixon closed the gold window, the average wage index was just about $6,500, $3 shy of that. Right now, in 2015, they're saying the average wage index is 47,820. And I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that love to be making average wage. And you may have also heard they're talking about having the trust fund run out in 2033. Well, on their projections, in 2033, they expect the average wage to be $100,000. And with a growth rate of 0.2%, one, they're not going to make it there. And two, there's another component of this, which is having people in the workforce. And this isn't even counting what we've talked about robots taking jobs. So if we go look at the Roman numeral 5, that's V-A1 table, this talks about the demographic assumptions that they've based all this under. They've got it broken down, total under 65, 65 and over, and immigration, legal, and other. I guess that's their term for illegal. And I'll get to the assumptions that they're building this on. Starting with 2015, they are planning on 795,000, you might as well call it 800,000 legal immigrants, 670,000 other. So that's over 1.4 million immigrants. And through 2033, even though some of that other tapers off, they keep the legal at 795,000, nearly 1 million a year coming in, despite the fact that we've got record low labor participation rate. And the total immigration through 2033 is 1 million, over 1 million a year. And part of the reason that they're having to import workers gets back to what we see with Planned Parenthood, the murder of nearly 60 million babies in the womb since Roe v. Wade. has left us without the workforce that's supposed to be supporting us. And then the other side of this, how many of these million or more immigrants a year is going to be making that average wage index of, nearly 50,000 a year currently and 100,000 a year in 2033? I sincerely doubt they're going to see anywhere near that amount. And without that, the Social Security projections are just garbage, and the trust fund will be exhausted much faster than what they say. And I'll take a quick break there for your comments.
John, one of the things that we need to do is have a broadcast about Social Security. How does it work? What are the pitfalls? What do we need to know about? What do we need to plan for? How much can you earn before it being taxed? So if there's anyone out there in our class, or if you know someone who would be a great instructor here at USA Prepares to talk about Social Security, how it works, how to apply for it, the mechanics of receiving Social Security, please let me know, and we'll see if we can make that broadcast available right here. I think that'd be something that's very important to all of us. John, you talked about a farmer in China who lost more than everything. It's almost incomprehensible that a person could lose more than everything. And that's because he went into debt. Not only did he lose everything, but he still owed. What I noticed, I was shopping for a few items that I needed for this solar system on eBay. It takes me a long time. It takes me a long time to select the things that I want to buy, and I try to buy them at the absolute lowest price, the best value I can find. And it literally takes me way longer than it should. I was looking over the weekend on the internet. I was looking at eBay, and there are some meters. Now, for $2, for $2, you can buy an LED display that is a voltmeter. And what I'd like to do is to have a voltmeter read out how many volts each one of these 16 panels, these solar panels, is producing. And what I can do, literally, I can use this as a failure detector. So if I see all the panels in front of me and I have 16 meters, 16 displays, I'll be able to tell which ones are performing well and which ones are not performing well. And I'm going to build this little system. And the total cost for having 16 displays, 16 voltmeters with digital displays, the total cost without my labor is going to be $32 plus $1.99 shipping. What's happening, I'm seeing, is electronic prices are coming way down. Not only that, there are now discounts being offered for Chinese products. The Chinese are trying to sell at even lower prices. Now, what I'm saying is I can buy a digital meter with a digital display about the size of a domino for $2 plus $1.99 shipping. So I clicked on 16 of them. How much is 16? It's $2 times 16 plus it's still $1.99 shipping. Now, I'd like to submit to you that try to get a U.S. company to ship something for $1.99. Okay? Is that possible? $1.99 doesn't cover the postage, let alone the envelope, the packing, the labor, and the transportation to get halfway across the world to here. That's what they're doing. They're doing this because they have to stay afloat. And their market is in turmoil. Is that because we all ran out of money here in the United States and we don't buy anything anymore? Or we've slowed down our purchases? I submit to you that the reason that tonight's meetup is about all the problems that we face. And I'm going to ask the entire group, what do you see as a threat? What do you see as a problem? And we're going to rank how serious that is on a scale of 1 to 10. And I submit to you that not everybody sees these things. Some people think that everything's okay. I don't get it. I don't get it. We're surrounded 360 degrees by threats. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Injury Help Desk is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention prescription antibiotic drug users. Have you or a loved one suffered an aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm after taking the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox? These popular antibiotic drugs have been prescribed more than 80 million times since 2004, and medical studies show an increased risk of the following injuries: aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, and abdominal aortic aneurysm. If you or a loved one used the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox and suffered from aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-823-3851, 800-823-3851, 800-823-3851.
In these uncertain times, it makes sense to have a sustainable backup method to cook food and boil water. If your current plan includes using a fuel-burning stove or cooking over an open fire, then there's a much better way. The Minuteman Rocket Stove is a biomass-burning cooking stove that only requires small quantities of sticks and twigs for fuel. The Minuteman Stove is easy to use, smokeless, portable, powerful, and sustainable. For the finest in survival cooking stoves and fire starters made right here in the USA, go to MinutemanStove.com. That's MinutemanStove.com.
Technically, I wasn't invited to this wedding, but you can stroll into any event with a camera and people will assume you're the photographer. This bag's holding more than cameras. It's also got an RFID scanner that's picking up all your personal information. Debit cards, credit cards, even that key to your office. So while the bride's taking his last name, I'll be taking yours. Say cheese!
Do you have a stronghold on your identity? ID Stronghold pioneered RFID blocking technology over a decade ago. For about the same price as an unprotected wallet, you can get a stronghold on your credit cards, license, and other critical data with ID Stronghold wallets, card sleeves, and purses. Other RFID blocking technology simply isn't the same. Check the label. If it's not an ID Stronghold, it's probably weak.
I'm Walt Augustinowicz, founder and CEO of ID Stronghold. Protect yourself from crimes you can't see with ID Stronghold wallets in bifold, trifold, and the popular mini style.
Get the original RFID blocking wallet. IDstronghold.com.
Attention backpackers on a budget. Why spend $80 to $300 to pump clean survival water? Introducing the Viba Water Pump Kit from Viba Outdoor Products. Super easy to use and super lightweight at only 6.5 ounces, the Viba Water Pump Kit provides high flow rate at 1 ounce per stroke, can be one-hand pumped, and is dependable and affordable at only $24.99, filter not included. Get your Viba Water Pump Kit at VIBA-ODP.com from Viba Outdoor Products.
Captain John Reagan's with us, the financialstateoftheunion.com. We're at the news tab. John, what I'm saying is I'm seeing products, electronics from China falling in price. Their discounts are being taken, and I think it's because they need the sales. That's my take on it. Back to you.
Yeah, and we're going to see things aren't looking pretty. One of the articles coming up is about Procter & Gamble sales falling. I actually had to take a screenshot of the news feed that was in, because the second article below that said, Fed says economy improving, September rate hike in view. And I wanted to bring that up because we're going to have the employment report this Friday, And I'm almost sure that they're going to torture it some more to show how the employment situation's improving so they can support having a rate hike next month. That's my prediction. Getting into the news, we've got a trend line that's been in place since 2009 broken on the S&P 500. And we've also got the second largest stock, ExxonMobil, broke through a 28-year trend line. Now, when you look at a chart and you see the activity break through a long-term line like that, if it's to the downside, it's not good news. That says you're going to expect it to continue going down. If it's breaking up and you own the stock, that's good news because you're expecting it to go up. So a couple of indicators there. We've got the government re-released GDP information because the numbers they were coming up with weren't good enough, so they did additional adjustments, and apparently it's still not working. We've got what they call the slowest recovery since World War II. And be honest to see how long they can keep that up. Procter & Gamble has fallen for 6 quarters now in sales. And you think about how big they are, how much they put out in marketing. The situation for living expenses in the United States is not good, though. Homeownership rate drops to a 48-year low, and rents are skyrocketing. So if you can't afford a home and you can't afford rent, what's left? And there's a few cities that they've listed here where single-family rent increases of at least 10% for the year ending in June. And unfortunately, I happen to live in one of the areas that's up. Dallas is up pretty close to 14% there. And just to give you an idea, the complex we moved into in May, which wasn't that long ago, the 2-bedroom apartment's $825 a month. Well, now the price posted on the website is $900, and that's only a couple of months later. And to give you an idea about this complex, when we moved in, it was half Section 8. And one of the reasons I went ahead and moved in, even though there's that much Section 8 here, is that they're not going to take any more new Section 8 tenants until the ratio drops to 25%. In fact, they can't under apparently new guidelines. So also looking ahead, I've got coal for Christmas, Toys R Us having problems. Their bonds are crashing because the creditors are tightening the credit lines. And just to put a little bit of spin on there too, in the October time frame, that's when companies do their open enrollment for insurance. And they're going to find out how big an increase they're going to have next year. And we're seeing double-digit, 10, 20, sometimes 40% on health insurance. So with that kind of increase, even though it's not hitting their paycheck, I wouldn't be surprised to see them cut back on Christmas in order to help pay for health insurance. And then when we get back, we'll talk about how the second biggest shopping season is not going well either.
John, we come back. I've got a comment on something you said about Toys R Us. It'll only take a couple seconds, but I listened to that, and it's an indicator of where we're going. We'll be right back.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today. Introducing the fastest-growing digital currency company in the world, OneLife. With over 2.1 million members, OneCoin is becoming the most powerful force in digital currency. It reached over $1 billion in revenue in its first year. No other company has accomplished such an impressive feat. Now you can achieve financial independence with the strength of OneLife. Find out how to build your financial dreams. 877-933-4747. 877-933-4747. Dedicated to helping you create financial abundance.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Think about this. Your community's aging water infrastructure systems are very likely to be contaminated with heavy metals like lead, disinfection chemicals like ammonia, chlorine and chloramines, and pharmaceuticals like statins, pain meds, and antidepressants. And no, water treatment plants are not equipped to filter these pharmaceutical toxins out. Protect your family's water supply with the trusted Big Berkey water filter. New NSF EPA-certified lab tests show Big Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria, and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification, and our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
If you're considering going back to school, ask yourself the following questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a world-renowned university? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Arizona State University is the perfect school for you. Arizona State University offers over 100 highly ranked degree programs 100% online. You'll earn the same degree as you would on campus, from wherever you are, on your schedule. Plus, ASU Online accepts most transfer credits. For information, call 1-800-933-1430. Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 90% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Learn to grow, learn to succeed, and learn to thrive at Arizona State University. To learn more about ASU Online degrees, call 1-800-933-1430. That's 1-800-933-1430.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries
injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507.
This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
So, John Regan, I went to the Toys R Us website during the break, and I tried to find something that I thought would be a necessity. Now, they do have a section of items for sale for what they call differently abled kids. That's their nomenclature, differently abled kids. I might call that differently abled children. We used to call that handicapped children. Now, they have that section. I guess it would be, learning toys. Other than that, I'm having a tough time trying to find absolute necessities that they sell. Now, I believe they sell some clothing. So if you subtract out the clothing and maybe some nice learning tools or toys for handicapped children, other than that, I can't think of much that they sell that's a necessity. That being the case, as we spiral down, how is it possible, without changing what they sell, how is it possible that Toys R Us can survive?
It really doesn't look good, and I guess the difference is with a company, if they go out of business, you've got alternatives. When it's the government bonds crashing, that's when things get pretty darn serious.
I remember reading something about FAO Schwartz, and something happened to them recently. Oh, they closed.
They closed the flagship store.
Yeah, in New York City. I remember back in 1980, I heard about this toy store that had unbelievably expensive and unusual toys. So I went in there. Now, actually, it was in the 70s. In the 70s, when I was being trained by IBM, I just walked down to FAO Schwartz. And I was amazed. And to think, that store caters to the upper income group, right? I mean, you certainly wouldn't go there looking for bargains. And they closed. They closed their flagship store. Another, and how long they had been open for a long time. It's not that they were founded in 1862, and they closed their flagship store. I think this is just one more indicator, John, of how bad things are.
Yeah, and these are the good old days.
Yeah, it's going to get worse. Yeah.
Well, the second busiest shopping season, which is back to school, isn't looking too good either. They had one survey that says that what people plan to spend is a 20% decline from last year. And that's a little different than what the National Retail Federation put out earlier, that said that the drop was going to be about 6%. But whether it's 6% or 20%, it's still a pretty big ding for their back-to-school shopping season.
John, I'm seeing more stores closed, more stores being bulldozed in Springfield, Missouri. It looks like, if a Burger King can't make it, well, we'll bulldoze it. Now they're parking lots. Literally. That's what they're doing in Springfield, Missouri. So you don't see that there are a whole bunch of buildings that are vacant. They bulldoze them down and they clean them out. And within a few days, it's just a parking lot. Actually, it's just dirt. And it's not as evident as they and these are nice buildings. I mean, if you look at a Burger King, have you ever seen a run-down, dilapidated Burger King building? I don't think so. And what I'm saying is there's all kinds of useful equipment. That building could be used for something. But no, in Springfield, Missouri, they're bulldozing buildings down. Right next to our old hangout, Ziggy's, there was a really, really nice restaurant, magnificent building the next building over to Ziggy's. And they just couldn't get enough traffic to keep it operational. They bulldozed it down. It was a relatively new building. Couldn't have been more than 10 years old. Bulldozed it. Now it's just dirt. I don't understand. I really don't understand why we're doing this. You mean we can't have small enterprises go into these buildings at reduced rent? We can't do that? I think we can. But I think government's in the way.
So are you ready for some spy tech?
I am.
Oh, boy. We're going to
tech.
run out of time, so I'm going to be very selective here. I'm going to go down to the NASDAQ blockchain. And, we've talked about Bitcoin before, and I've never been a fan of it. And it was my opinion that they put that out to condition people to accept the technology. And
I agree.
And this is going to just drive that home beyond what you don't want to believe. This part isn't too bad. They're talking about using the blockchain technology, which is what Bitcoin uses, where it tracks every transaction so that there can only be one owner at a time. And they're talking about using this for NASDAQ transactions, which is, basically the stock ownership. So every time the stock changes hands, it will record the change. But what's scarier than that is the next one, and I called it ball and chain is more like it. It talks about how this same technology, the blockchain, will transform information technology in business. And they're talking about using this for everything from property records, copyright and intellectual property records, digital contract management, employment and work records. I mean, basically think your whole life. And that's on top of, using this technology to get rid of the cash in our society. You would then have, the Fed blockchain, whatever they call it when they come out with it, that would replace cash. And just think about everywhere you spend your money, there's a record of, who it went to. So they can follow, throughout the entire, really throughout the entire world, but the whole chain of where the money flowed to. And if that doesn't, get the hair to rise on your neck, I don't know what will.
So everything that you could purchase in the future could be tracked from the individual components that make it up to the finished product, to the warehouse, to the first retail outlet, to the first owner, to the second owner, third owner, fourth owner, and so forth.
And just think they can, the reason they've gone to a larger bit size, which just means a larger number, is they could put an ID chip on, say, every can of beans, every package of rice, every cereal box, you name it, so that they know who that was sold to. And when food starts getting rationed, if you want to try and do any type of black market trading, they're going to know whether or not that can end up in your trash or not.
Yep. And they'll know if, where did it go, boy? So, you bought a case of beans on Thursday. Where are they? And what if you can't produce them? Well, did you sell them on the black market? Well, that's now a crime. Selling beans to, someone without, or trading them. I can just see where this is going, John. We're looking at crimes that are not even in our thought process.
I mean, the Nazi police state couldn't even come close to what the technology allows today.
And technology is increasing at an increasing rate. So One of the videos I was going to show tonight, and I probably will show it, is it's on YouTube. I'll put a link on it on the website, usaprepares.com. It's about a drone. And this is not a new video. It's just to reinforce tonight how scary things are. This drone can fly above a city and video the whole city and record it. And if they want to say, well, what happened last Thursday at 7:41 a.m.? Let's go back and let's look at it. They'll have this all recorded. The technology exists. This is what the government is telling us about the technology. And it shows, you can see birds flying. You can see people walking in a parking lot. You can see them waving their hands in a parking lot. You can say, follow this guy. You can point to the screen, follow this guy. And there'll be a box around him, and that other guy, and that other guy. And then there'll be boxes around him, and these boxes will move as the computer follows their movements throughout a parking lot, or follow that car. It's unbelievable. So, the car chases and the tail of the car, you don't need to do it anymore. The computer will do it for you. And when they get out of their car, then you have the SWAT team ready to execute. And that's the kind of stuff that's happening. It's like watching NCIS, and you think, how do they do that? How do they know where that guy went based on the last time he bought gas? How do they know where he is? How do they know who he called on his cell phone? It was fiction back then, or at least we thought it was. It's reality today. Wow. Time's flying. What did you say, John? Kermit said? Time's fun?
Time's fun when you're having flies.
Yeah, time's fun when you're having flies. We'll be right back.
Today, I became a biophoton woman. I put a tablespoon of the Andreas 5-seed oil in my morning's One World Way drink and was still happy and energized at 3 p.m. Normally, I feel tired and spacey at the end of the day, but today I felt energy and very clear. My friend at the farmer's market asked what I was on. She said my eyes looked bright and I had unusual energy for that time of afternoon. I told her there was a magical oil that enabled my body to absorb the sun's energy as if I were a plant. She said, I want some. A second One World Way shake with the oil when I got home took me to bedtime with that wonderful, abundant energy. I couldn't believe how much I got done and how great I felt. The combination of One World Way and 5-seed oil produced a significant health event in my life, the kind that makes you feel you've been given your life back with a bonus, and I'm 64.
5-seed oil in One World Way. For your fantastic health, call 888-988-3325 or visit sacredseedoils.com.
Do you ever feel like you're being watched? Like someone or some company is tracking your every move online? I know I do. That's why I trust Private Internet Access VPN to keep me safe when I'm online. I use it to encrypt my traffic and use an anonymous IP address. Private Internet Access keeps your internet traffic safe from unwanted eyes so you can finally feel safe. $40 a year for peace of mind is a no-brainer. Sign up today at privateinternetaccess.com. Once again, that's privateinternetaccess.com.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Technically, I wasn't invited to this wedding, but you can stroll into any event with a camera and people will assume you're the photographer. This bag's holding more than cameras. It's also got an RFID scanner that's picking up all your personal information. Debit cards, credit cards, even that key to your office. So while the bride's taking his last name, I'll be taking yours. Say cheese!
Do you have a stronghold on your identity? ID Stronghold pioneered RFID blocking technology over a decade ago. For about the same price as an unprotected wallet, you can get a stronghold on your credit cards, license, and other critical data with ID Stronghold wallets, card sleeves, and purses. Other RFID blocking technology simply isn't the same. Check the label. If it's not an ID Stronghold, it's probably weak.
I'm Walt Augustinowicz, founder and CEO of ID Stronghold. Protect yourself from crimes you can't see with ID Stronghold wallets in bifold, trifold, and the popular mini style.
Get the original RFID blocking wallet. IDstronghold.com.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
My computer is so slow, it's making me crazy.
I used to have that problem.
Did you quit using a computer, or did you buy a new one?
No, I called Geeks On Site. They made an appointment to visit my home and showed up the same day.
You mean they didn't ask you to bring your computer to a shop? That's what happened when I called a support company.
Geeks On Site can go to your home or business or even repair your computer online. They have 24/7 emergency service.
If you're having problems with your PC or Mac, call Geeks On Site, 1-800-591-1682. Our friendly certified computer repair experts are available 24/7. Call now for a free diagnosis, 1-800-591-1682. Data recovery, virus removal, and maintenance for all laptops, desktops, printers, and networks. That's Geeks On Site for friendly certified computer repair experts, available 24/7 over the phone or in your home or business. Just call 1-800-591-1682. That's 1-800-591-1682, 1-800-591-1682.
If you missed buying emergency food from the Patriotic Guys during their mega sale last month, be grateful. Even when they slash their prices by 40%, you still get more food for your money from Ready Supply Foods. Ready Supply Foods sells 50 to 230% more food for your money, and we can prove it. With 23 delicious entrees, we also have 4 times the variety, too. Surviving a disaster is hard enough without worrying about starving to death. See how much more food you can get for your money at ReadySupplyFoods.com today.
Jen, you're talking about Bitcoin, and in Japan, there's a guy by the name of Mark. I'll spell his last name, Karpelles. He was arrested in Japan, accused of falsifying Bitcoin account data. 650,000 Bitcoins seem to be missing. So, we were told that this was bulletproof technology, couldn't happen, everything's safe, and it's not the case. We've got Michael from New York. Michael, you're on with John Regan and me. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Vincent. Good morning, gentlemen. Real quick on the technology that Captain John was just conveying to us and how scary it is. But let's reverse it, and then it could be so useful and for keeping us free, because with this technology, we should chip all our representatives and politicians across the board, federal, state, local, and then monitor them with their surveillance of the drones in the sky, see what they're up to, and say, hey, they're consorting with Rockefellers. They're having secret meetings with these communist and Nazi scum. And then we can send them voltage, bam, right to them, which will cause them to have tremendous spasms and drool on the spot until we can arrest them, and then charge them appropriately. So you see how beneficial this technology really could be if it was in the hands of the civilian.
Let's couple that, Michael, with some of the countries in Africa sell these permits to go execute magnificent animals, right? And just before the broadcast, John and I were talking about this for a couple seconds, and we thought this, John, what'd you say? This would be a way to pay down the national debt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Combine what you're saying, Michael, with selling permits to go on hunting expeditions. Well, it'd be high-tech hunting.
Great.
Because, Michael, we would know where they are.
That's exactly right. And there you go. As soon as they step out of line, they betray us. You put the permit out. Go get them, hunters. Go get a trophy. That's a great idea. And the money you can get on those permits will be excellent revenue for the Treasury. Absolutely. Great idea, gentlemen.
Oh, jeez. All right, so let's put a disclaimer in here. We're not, even though this is a bit of humor, we're not talking about going out and plinking those people who step out of line. We're not advocating it. It's probably going to happen anyway, but we're not calling for it. Michael, I appreciate the call.
God bless, gentlemen.
John Regan, back to you.
I'll have to get into why they're giving Windows 10 away for free next time. I do want to talk about some other articles that are further down. There's a couple in the preparedness section. One is Wind Charge, which talks about a portable windmill for charging devices. And I'm thinking that's really great in case we get into that situation like a volcanic winter where you can't use your solar charger. And get the demo. I'm talking about demographics. If you're looking for a place to live in the United States and want to know what the population density and other considerations are in that area, this is a tool where you can go and find that out. I'll quickly go over some of the other ones here under the bigger picture. Is the Dead Sea dying? We're just 2 years away from having the self-driving 18-wheelers. And guys, if you aren't letting your wife sleep with other men, you're being sexist. And then there's the government smarts, the global warming expedition stopped by ice.
So you've got all of these links on the website, thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. Then click on the news tab. And John, you're in a future broadcast, you'll be talking about Windows 10 is spying on almost everything. Everything you do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's not like the previous editions of Windows haven't allowed spying on us. It's just this one is the absolute worst, right?
Considerably. And there are some things you can do, at least for now.
Yeah, and so I suggest we try Linux. I'm running Linux right here in the studio. That's what I use. Maybe we can talk a little bit about Linux in some future broadcasts. It's absolutely free, or almost free. Captain John Regan's with us. Meet up tonight, Jimmy's Egg, 4:45 to 8. Thanks so much, Captain John Regan. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Can your vitamin supplements positively affect your blood in 5 minutes? Protovite can. Protovite is a genuine breakthrough liquid daily nutrition that delivers quality ingredients into your blood in less than 5 minutes. Scientifically proven and backed by clinical studies, Protovite supports energy, vitality, and optimal health. Watch our 2-minute live blood cell video and see for yourself at VNIINC.com/prohealth. That's VNIINC.com/prohealth.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL.